Hello everyone, I'd like to tell you a little bit about CompTIA's Advancing Women in Technology community, why I'm involved, what the problem is, and what we're trying to do about it. So I'm going to take about 15 minutes of your time, and I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this with me. So we have a problem. There aren't enough women entering technology careers, and of those in the technology careers, it's difficult for them to move up the ladder. These are good paying jobs. Families are losing out on potential income. Women are missing out on opportunities. There's an imbalance, and it's not the fault of men or women. It's unconscious bias. Unconscious bias happens when you do something to tip the scale away from another person without even realizing it's happening. I'll show you a couple of examples, and I'm going to let you know what CompTIA's Advancing Women in Technology is doing to combat the problem and how you might be able to help. So my name is AmyBabinchak, and I have a couple of jobs. My jobs, well, I own 3 technology companies. I do technology writing. I've made a hobby out of securing environments for ransomware, believe it or not. And I use that hobby to create a scholarship fund to help more women get certified, because certification might be the thing that gets past someone's unconscious bias when a woman's applying for a job. And my staff are the people that you see on the photo right now. They come in various genders, ages, ethnicities, and even nationalities. And I like to think that I don't have any unconscious bias, but I know that I do, because we all do. We can strive to make that unconscious bias conscious and catch ourselves making assumptions and then question those assumptions. And that's how I think that we solve the problem of there not being enough women in technology. So recently, in November, I was at a conference. And I was at a conference in at Microsoft office. And there were 1,900 people at this conference, all in IT. And so some of you might think that there's not a problem of there not being enough women in IT, or that it's an old problem. But it's not. I want to show you a picture. So this is a conference that's an invitation-only event from Microsoft to the technical people that they award as being the best and brightest in the industry. There were 1,900 people of attendance, and here you see the extent of the crowds waiting for an open stall in the women's restroom. There's something wrong with this, isn't there? So here's another example. In October, I was speaking at a technology event, and I mentioned that I serve on the Advancing Women in Technology Executive Committee. And I told the story of my early career when I was a system engineer flying around the country, solving problems that the local engineer couldn't in programming routers to establish WANs and installing the software that was going to run over it. I would have to go through a grilling every time I met a new IT department. They would have a sit down with me and grill me about my qualifications. And I said I hope that this wasn't the case anymore for women coming into this career, you know, that when they hired a consulting firm and they sent somebody out, that there might actually, you know, they might actually trust the person that was sent out, because after all, they hired the firm. And an audience member came up to me afterwards, and he told me that he's the proud father of a daughter going into programming, that they were taking a class together because he used to be a programmer too. And he noticed that his daughter was consistently getting graded a full grade lower than he was. He checked her work. He couldn't find anything wrong with it. So they decided to run an experiment. He wrote the code for the next assignment, and they both turned it in. He got an A, she got a B. They took those results to the dean. I don't know what happened from there. It's almost made me cry to hear this. Is it still unconscious bias when it's so blatant? I'm not a psychologist to know for sure, but I know it's wrong. And this is part of the problem that is still out there today that we need to combat. So in this picture, in 2010, Mattel came out with a series of booklets as part of their effort to modernize Barbie. And there's this one that's called I Can Be a Computer Engineer. And the premise is really exciting, because when I was growing up, Barbie's jobs were model, trophy girlfriend, aerobic instructor, and rock star. Computer engineer Barbie It wasn't even a thought. So computer engineer Barbie got a book that went along with her that was supposed to encourage girls to participate in coding. And this is a really awesome concept. But something is wrong. I mean, the girls are not interested in coding or being an engineer. So something's wrong with the message. And pardon me while I do the sin of PowerPoint. I'm going to read my own slide. Only 27% of middle school girls have ever considered a career in technology. Only 18% of high school girls say they've considered a tech career. So the number goes down as they get older. That's really weird. And so why aren't they interested? So of those who say they're not considering tech as a career, 69% of them say they don't know what a tech career involves. So they don't even have the basic information to judge whether or not it might be a fit for them. They just don't have any idea what it is. So how is it that we're not talking to girls about this? Some unconscious bias has led us to not even tell our girls what a tech career is all about. And that's a darn shame. So back to this book with Mattel. And this is where, is this maybe where unconscious bias is coming from? Here's a place, right? Your robot puppy is so sweet, says Skipper. Can I play your game? I'm only creating the design ideas, Barbie says, laughing. I'll need Stephen and Brian's help to turn it into a real game. Come on now. Is this what a computer engineer would say? Somehow unconscious bias is so strong that a message like this made it through the entire process at Mattel and into publishing, and no one noticed the problem. I can't imagine that if this were a boys booklet, that this is how we would tell boys for their career choice for I can be a computer engineer, but you'll need to get some girls' help to make it a real game. I can imagine how that would have gone over. We can't have differences in genders like this. It's a problem that we have to correct. It's still out there, but fortunately there are some things that we can do, and this is what we're looking for your help on. We need you to look for unconscious bias and to call it out when you see it. We need you to donate your time or your money. If you just want to donate your money, I mentioned I've got a scholarship program. We can help get women certified. There's a link for that on here, and there's links for all kinds of stuff on there. You can join the CompTIA's Dream IT. In the Dream IT, we've got some canned presentations for you to deliver out to girls. We get some ideas of what to tell girls in your school. So if you have a son or daughter in school and they're doing a career day, please go and tell them what it's really like to be a computer engineer, or what it's like to work in IT, or what it's like to work in a technology company, even not in IT. And then please do tell your story, especially if you're a woman. There's a Make Tech Her Story website that we've got going over at CompTIA, someplace where we can have references, where people can go and learn what it's like to work in IT, and that there are successful women in it. You can also participate in the Advancing Women in Technology community. We've got a great LinkedIn page and a great Facebook page. So if you'd like to join us, please, please do. We need your help.